afraid to say you like it. And don't also, can we stop saying hot take? Can we stop doing that? Like, it's not a hot take. Just give your fucking opinion, dude. Like, seriously, just say what you mean. Hot take. I like, it's like, you mean honest? You're being honest? Good. Don't try to cause controversy. Just be honest with yourself.
How are you doing today?
Good. Very good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just had a week off last week.
Oh, nice.
Vacation. That's why if you guys see me on YouTube right now, I'm not in my typical setup. I'm still I'm still away, but working, which is it's a great balance, you know. Not in typical setup, so like your mind is a bit still on vacation, but gotta work, right? So any vacations for you this summer?
Not yet. Still, we're still waiting for the, you know, I don't want to have any thoughts in the back of my head about, you know, COVID or anything like that. So we're giving it until the end of this year, and then next year, 2023 is going to be the year that me and the lady and, you know, we get out there and start traveling again.
Yeah, I completely feel you. I mean, I'm in exactly the same boat actually. Like I'm at my in-laws right now, which is like a 4-hour drive from home. I'm still in the same province. You know, I'm not far. You know, I'm not, you know, overseas, if you will. So
right.
we thought about going to Spain and maybe France as well, but we kind of like canceled the plan because of the whole like, you know, luggage situation. It's like who knows what's gonna happen. Like I'm going to Gamescom, but that's for business, you know. Kind of have to.
Yep. Totally understand.
Going with the kid and the wife, and you know, and this uncertain kind of like. Hopefully, it goes well, but you never know, right? When it comes to traveling in these circumstances, I totally get it.
Absolutely.
Did you have any thoughts on like where would you go like next year if you could pick?
Oh, dude, like we've been talking about it, and we have a list a mile long as far as like places we want to go. Like, I mean, name a country. We'll probably have
right.
that in our list. But yeah, it's like I guess the first thing that we want to get to or get planned out is we're gonna hopefully, if we can go to Burning Man next year, we'll hit that up. Because my lady's never been there and I've been there a few times. So I want to show her like what I've been talking about and stuff like that. But I also want to get to the other Twitch cons and stuff because I miss that shit. Miss it terribly.
Yeah, we didn't go to the European TwitchCon, but we are definitely going to the American one on the West Coast. So, but before we go,
San Diego.
Yeah, before we go any further, let me introduce you. Right, let me introduce you to our listeners. So you have over 250,000 followers across platforms online, over 20 million channel views. You're a Twitch Rise streamer partner. You're a stage host.
Mm-hmm.
You're the co-host of Dropped Frames podcast, so very familiar with podcasting.
Yep.
You are Zeke the third.
Exactly. Yep.
The third.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Welcome, and thank you for for taking the time, taking the hour to be with us. Love to, and I'm super excited to get to know you better. Now, being a Twitch stage host, what is that?
Well, back when I haven't done it for a while, but back when Twitch had a branch of Twitch called Twitch Studios. Twitch Studios used to go to all of the conventions, and when I say all of the conventions, they went to a ton. There was a time period for about 2 years where I was traveling to all the different PAXs, all the Comic Cons, all that stuff. I was going there like once a month, and they would take their studio. They would have a stage and a booth and stuff like that at all the different conventions, and they would have cameras and a whole crew, and it was very, very professional. They had we would invite game devs, people in the gaming industry. When we went to Comic Cons, we had like celebrities, huge names that everybody has heard of, just coming onto the stage, and I would sit there and interview them for 10 to 15 minutes depending on the segment about their upcoming projects and stuff like that, live on the floor of like New York Comic Con, Emerald City Comic Con, C2E2, all that kind of stuff, PAX, South, East, West, all of them. And I did that for a couple of years there, and it was a fun time. Unfortunately, Twitch dissolved that wing of their company, so they don't really do that anymore. But I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed that maybe someday they'll get back into that, and maybe we can do maybe we can do an E3 again. Because that was always a fun time.
Any cool stories about like a celebrity that you've interviewed?
Well, this is this, would you consider this like primarily a gaming kind of podcast? Okay. So if so,
Well, gaming, content creation, gaming,
okay.
yeah.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I'm not sure how big he is outside of gaming, but Suda51, who is a well-known game dev and a very well, if you've played any of his games like No More Heroes and the like, you kind of know his style.
Killer 7, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's him. Yep. I had an interview with him during E3 a few years ago, and he was advertising or he was talking about the upcoming No More Heroes 3, and he had him, his translator, and the voice of Travis Touchdown, who is the main character of the No More Heroes series. All three of them were on the couch, and I asked him about the motion controls of the Switch, or it's coming to Switch. The previous games were on the Wii, and the Wii had motion controls to charge up the Wiimote, to charge up the laser sword you use in the game. So you actually had to charge it up. And the way you this might get a little lewdish, but the way you charge it up, the way you charge up the sword with the Wiimote is you do this, like this. Yeah. And I asked him about the motion controls, and he's speaking in Japanese, and his translator's translating, and he's doing this the whole time. And we all looked at each other, and all four of us started doing that at the same time. Like like me, Suda, his translator, and Travis Touchdown himself. We're all on the couch just going, yeah, looking at the camera. It was hilarious. There's a clip out there if you like care to find it. But man, that was great just to have. And the thing that the capper of it that I didn't know until afterwards, until I watched the clip afterwards, was Suda51 is such a boss. He stared like directly at the camera the whole time. He knew exactly what he was doing. He just sitting there like I didn't know he was doing that until after the interview. But yeah, that was a great moment. If you want like a more like bigger celebrity moment, now when I say celebrity, I'm not talking like no A-list. It's not like Matt Damon or
right.
whoever. But it's definitely a name that everybody either knows or knows their character. I was backstage at Emerald City Comic Con, and I had a scheduled interview with Robert Englund. And if you don't know that name, he's Freddy Krueger. He was Freddy Krueger in all the movies until the remake. And I'm sitting back there, and I'm really excited because I love horror flicks, and like I grew up with Freddy and Jason and all those guys. So I'm sitting back there and I'm waiting for him. And he comes backstage, like parts a little curtain because we have a little curtain green room area. He comes back and he's on his phone. And I'm sitting there, and I didn't see him on his phone right away, so I was like, "Oh, Mr. Anglin, I'm Zeke." Oh, I'm sorry. He's like, he was like, "1 second." And I was like, "Okay, I wonder how this is gonna go." So he's doing that. He finishes up whatever he was texting or doing or whatever. Puts his phone in his pocket. He goes, "How may I help you?" And he was the super nicest guy. Like he was in the middle of a thought or something. So he was like, "1 sec. Okay, how may I help you?" I was like, "I'm Zeke. I'm going to do the interview and stuff." Um, and I told him I'm a big fan. Like, I don't want to gush or anything. And I said, "Normally I don't do this, but, like, I'm a fan of yours. Would you mind taking a picture?" And he's like, "Absolutely not." And he grabs me, like, "Do you want to do this, like, Freddie?" I'm like, "Yeah, do it up." Grabs me, like, around the neck softly. He doesn't choke me, but he grabs me around the
Right,
neck.
right.
And as I'm bringing up my phone, no one else is there. It's just me and him. He grabs me and he goes, "You're in my world now, bitch," like in the Freddy voice. And I was just like, no one heard that. No one was around to see that. But he has his, then I get off the phone. He has his hands around my neck and he has his tongue. He's just like that. Dude, that was awesome. That was an awesome moment for sure.
That's pretty cool. How did you get
Yeah.
that gig at Twitch?
Well, I came up through Twitch with a like picture Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. Jon Stewart was on the Daily Show, right? And
Yep.
Stephen Colbert was a correspondent for a while. Um, there is a streamer named Man vs. Game who we grew up together. We were BFFs growing up, and he started streaming, and I started like guesting on his couch. We would do Men's Day is what we call it. It was on Wednesday, and since he's Men's Day on Wednesday. We would do co-op or versus games and stuff like that. And eventually, this is way back in Justin TV days.
Mm-hmm.
I would do guesting on his couch and come over every once in a while. And eventually, it got to the point where people were asking me like, "Why don't you?" Like people from his community were asking me, "Why don't you make your own channel?" And I asked him. He said, "Dude, go for it." Did that. And we were like, I don't know how many streamers, but it didn't seem like many at that time that made like were there for Justin TV and then made the transition to Twitch TV, but it didn't seem like a lot. And he was tapped by Twitch. They said, "We're gonna start doing this stuff, going to PAX E3 and all that kind of stuff. Do you want to do it?" And he said yes. And eventually they had a slot open, and he suggested me. He's like, "My buddy Zeke does this. I've done improv for years. I did improv, like live, game based, lowbrow, like bar. We did it in a bar.
Right.
Did improv for 15 years." And he said, "Yeah, my buddy Zeke will be good at this." And they gave me a shot at PAX East. God, I don't even remember what year that was, but they said, "All right, we're giving you your shot." And I said, "Okay." I thought I was going to be hosting like one second. It was DJ Wheat, by the way. One of the old guard. DJ Wheat and John Carnage were the ones that were kind of responsible for allowing me onto the Twitch stage. But yeah, they said, "Yeah, you got your shot at PAX East." And I was like, "Okay." I thought I was going to do like a tester. Like I was going to do like one segment, maybe two,
Yeah.
to see how I did on camera. They're like, just threw me right to the stars. Like both days I was on the entire schedule, like doing like, 8-10 segments a day, for both days. And I was like, "Jeez, I had no idea you were going to just like work." Was like, "Yeah, we had to make sure you could do it." And that was it. Like they, apparently I did all right. I mean, got to give myself a little bit of credit. I was very kind of, I don't want to say annoying. I want to say motivated. But I kept emailing them and messaging them like, "Hey, PAX coming up. Need a guy? Hey,
Mm-hmm.
there's a con coming up. Need a guy?" And that's how I got
That's
on
the way
stage.
to
Man.
go about it, man. I mean, in business, you got to be, uh, yeah. I also don't like the word annoying, but it it feels that way sometimes. Like you reach out to certain people, and you have to reach out again and again and again. And oftentimes, you know, when that happens to me, like I'll hear back like, "Oh, thanks for being persistent.
Yeah.
Appreciate that." Like the people that will appreciate it, but at the time you're doing it, you feel like you're harassing them a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I I mean, the last thing you want to do when you want to get a job is, annoy the people you're potentially going to work with.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very like apologetic. I was like, "Hey, sorry to bug you. Just want to put a little bug in your ear here. Maybe Pax. Hey, listen, it's okay if you don't want to do it. It's fine. I'm just sorry for bugging you. Like I'm always like that, like backpedaling, like sorry,
Yeah.
but I want this job really bad, and I hope you know that.
Yeah. Well, that's the message it sends, being persistent like this. It
Yeah,
shows, how much you want something like this, right? Um, that's great. That's really seems like and feels like an amazing experience.
it absolutely
Very,
was, man.
yeah. The people you got to meet and just doing this at a time where you could do it now that it doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you also have a podcast
hmm
called Drop Frames.
hmm
Can you tell us more about like what it is about?
Drop frames was an idea that JP had many years ago. I want to say it's like we're going on 8. Like we're 7 and change, I think. For how many years we've been going. And
Hmm.
JP wanted to do like a talk show based, on Twitch. Um and he asked Co Carnage, and then Co Carnage said yes. And then he asked Day 9, and Day 9 is a huge name in gaming, and he was, understandably busy, so he turned it down. So I was choice number 3. He came to me and he said, "Hey Zeke, we're doing this thing," and I was like, "Okay." So I kind of wasn't sure what it was about, and I'm still not really totally 100% sure what it's about. I can give you the I can give you the synopsis of it. It's
Yeah.
just it started off with 3 guys talking about games, talking about what games have been released, talking about what we've been playing. Um and then for a while the show had a theme. Like we would have like uh a topic, an overarching
Hmm.
topic of what the show was discussing this week. Um, we discussed like burnout and the trials and tribulations of being a streamer. Um, we answered viewer questions, and for a while that's what we did. Um, but after the years, and we do interviews and stuff, but not every week. Like most
Yeah.
every week, it's the 3 of us, and then a guest if we you know get one. It's never been like we have a guest every week kind of a thing. It's like we got a guest we want to talk to about the game, like the new hot game that just came out, but it's never been a requirement for the show. That
You
and
stream
it's
it live
evolved
on
in.
Twitch, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we do. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. We used to do a rotating channel thing. Like it would be live on my channel this week, and then Co's, and then JP's. And then that wasn't working very well because everybody had it like, where is it this week? Oh, where is it last week? Okay. Where's it going? So we decided to stop moving it, and eventually, thankfully, JP found a way to broadcast simultaneously to all 3 of our channels. So all 3 of our channels are live during the show rather than it just being on one channel, which is very, very nice, and I'm very
Yeah.
appreciative of that. But the show has evolved to become, we talk about us a lot now. Like at the top of the show, we talk about our lives. And it seems apropos. It seems okay because people who've been watching for 5, 6, even 7 years, um, they're interested. They feel like they know you a little bit after that long, and
For sure.
we talk about our lives a little bit, and then we talk about Twitch news, like right off the bat. JP's very, very hip, got his ear to the ground as far as gaming news and Twitch news. And then usually in the second half is where we talk about what we've been playing and the games that are coming out or games that we have played in the last week or couple weeks.
Any games you've played recently that you can talk about?
Yeah, I played a great roguelike game. I can't remember the name of it. I think it has death in the title. It's pretty good.
Roguelite?
Yeah. No, I'm just
Have a nice death?
Yeah, have a nice death.
Well, yeah, of course.
I know, I'm messing with you, dude.
Yeah, I was like,
no, that game is fantastic.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. No, the game's fantastic. It's actually it's one of those rare titles that I had fun playing on my own time. Like I wasn't streaming it. I was playing it, on my laptop in the bedroom. Like when it's, after dinner time, me and the lady are in the bedroom. We got a show on. Sometimes she's on her iPad. I'm on the laptop, playing games or whatever. And that's one of the games that I did was Have a Nice Death, and I played it for a little bit. Excellent game. She absolutely loved it. She played the shit out of it. I think she got I want to say 30 or 40 hours into it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Just picked up hold on, I got to give a shout out to Huge Calf Studios. They were nice enough to give us the Drop Frames boys an early copy of Turbo Golf Racing, which is it's Rocket League soccer.
Yeah.
Or no, golf. Rocket League is soccer. Rocket League golf. So you just take your car, you're on the starting line. Everybody's on the starting line, 8 people. And then you just, rev your engines, hit your giant bouncy golf ball, and whoever gets to the hole first wins. And you play 3 holes, best of 3 gets the cup at the end. And it's a hell of a good time. Easy, it's just like Rocket League. Easy to pick up and play, lifetime to master. But that game's gonna be huge, I think. If they keep it, keep the momentum going. I could see it being might not be as popular as Rocket League, but I could see it, getting close because it's a super fun game. It's rage inducing, but that doesn't mean it's bad,
No, of course. I mean, there's great games that does that to you, but yeah. I think keeping momentum into this market is the hardest thing, especially when you're talking about Have a Nice Death, being in early access, continually updating the game and keeping people happy about the updates that you're putting out. That's already one thing that is very difficult to do.
Oh,
and, Have a Nice Death's been doing it since the beginning, and that's been great to see. But it's not like a given, it's not because you're updating your game that you're going in the right direction, if you will, right? So that's already a challenge on its own. But then there's so many games out there, so many updates going out that, staying relevant to the market, throughout, until you get to early access or until you get to launch the game, it's just so difficult, So it's it's a challenge, but I'm currently my mindset is I'm typically overwhelmed by the amounts of games that I want to play, but I have limited time to play them. So it's not almost for a lot of people. I think it's not even about what games you want to play. Is what games do you decide to play with the time you have available?
Dude, preaching to the choir, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Even I play my job is to play video games 8 hours a day for a living, and I still have nowhere near enough time to play all the games that I want to check out. My wish list is huge. I even dedicate a full day Indie Saturday. I dedicate a full day to just checking out indie games, and out of the 7, 4 get played, maybe 5 if we jump around quickly. But I have just a backlog of wish listed games that I couldn't check out. There's just so many.
Yeah, and the games get longer and longer as well, like I that's why I like and I collect old games, like good old Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis game, like pick up and play like 4 or 5 hours you're done, maybe 3 hours you're done. Like I recently played Stray, 5 hours. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, like I can decide to play a game over the weekend and get it done. I
Yep.
also played Elden Ring, but like as I said earlier, or a few weeks back, or a few months back now, like thank God I got COVID while the game came, like when the game came out, because
Oh, yeah.
it gave me enough time to actually play the game while I was sick.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Because yeah, did you play Elden Ring at all?
I played a little bit of it. I think I platinum. I got all the achievements. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
Yeah,
It was my only
who
thing I
didn't,
did
right?
off stream for 180 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
It's
dude. It was
crazy.
a
Like,
hell of a discovery. Like
yeah,
the joy of discovery in that game was huge for me. So, if it's a game that I really want to fully immerse myself in and I don't want any sort of uh I guess backseating or
yeah,
spoilers or anything like that. I totally avoided like most of the trailers. Like I didn't even care. Like I knew that I was gonna buy it. Like
yeah.
it's there's a lot of stigma around like doing like pre or
Orders. Yeah,
yeah, pre-orders. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of like negativity around that shit, but like FromSoft just keeps hitting home runs, man. I was like, I'll pre-order it. I don't care. Like I'm gonna play
yeah.
it.
I feel you. I mean, pre-orders are they're a tricky thing. I still pre-order games, probably more than I should, if you will. An easy and simple example, very kind of mainstream example, is like when GTA 6 will be open for pre-orders. I know a lot of people will just pre-order it. Like
Yeah.
it's GTA. It's so, but
It's easy to do with
yeah,
with a series that has a proven track record.
absolutely, yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm not like hip to the arguments, like all of the arguments against it, but it seems to be people, the consumers, gamers, that kind of thing, don't want you to give money to a studio before the game has proven out. It's proven to be actually good, and it's kind of like creating maybe they don't want to create a bad precedent of everyone doing pre-order on the games because it seems like it's doing so well. So I'm not sure like of the argument, but I'm also, as far as the gaming sphere goes, I'm an old dude. I'm 42, so like I've been around this shit for a long time. So I'm kind of like I'm not real super reactionary about everything. I try to preach the word of like uh don't buy into the hype. Don't just do it, man. Just play it. Just play it and see if you like it. I like just watch it, see if you like it. I have to confess I do fall victim to hype from every now and then. But I don't really get overexcited about anything until I have the product in my hand and I can actually judge for myself. I turn a corner, probably due to my age, but I turn a corner in my life where I stopped expecting things and started testing things. Uh, I guess I kind of like bought into a little bit of the Elden Ring hype. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna, and it totally did. It totally lived up to the hype. Um, but more often than not, I put a lot of value in being honest, and not only honest with other people, but honest with yourself. And I hope I want more people to do that. I want more people to say, yeah, I like that uh, weird game that like got panned by the critics or whatever. It's
Hmm.
they hate it. It's the story or like YouTubers saying how shitty it is or whatever. I want people to be able to go like, well, I liked it. Like I
Yeah,
didn't have a problem with it. As long as it's not like technically broken, meaning like it
yeah,
is bugged out to being unplayable. Like that's a totally different thing. If
Yep.
it's something that you don't like, or the mechanics, or something, if it's something that you like that other people pan because of other reasons, like, you know, story, gameplay, whatever. Don't be afraid to say you like it, and don't also. Can we stop saying hot take? Can we stop doing that? Like, it's not a hot take. Just give your fucking opinion, dude. Like, seriously, just say what you mean. Hot
Yep.
take. I like. You mean honest? You're being honest? Good. Good. Don't try to cause controversy. Just be honest with yourself. We used to call them guilty pleasures back in the day. Remember those?
Right.
Like the things that you're like, I really like it, but I don't want to tell everybody. Tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it took me a while to go, like, you know, that Hanson band from way back in the night, they were great. Like, I love that album. Middle of Nowhere. Like, I will shout it from the rooftop. Middle of Nowhere was an excellent album. And Mbop, I dare you not to sing that, dude. I dare you. You can't.
Yep. Oh, I
You know,
used
that
to
kind of
sing
thing.
that, man, alone
Yeah.
in my room as a kid, like as a absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, but like I
confess.
could, like, when it was popular, the song was popular or the band was popular, like me and my male masculine group of friends would be like, it was hard to say you like stuff like that because everybody thought that everybody else didn't. And I guarantee you, most of those assholes in my group love that shit too. Just like,
Yeah, I remember that period of my life as well, like very, very much. And I remember specifically, so back in the days, I'm from Quebec, right? From Montreal.
mhm.
And back in the days, like we kind of like made the Backstreet Boys. I don't know if you know that, but like they were really big here and then they got bigger everywhere else.
Sure.
And I wasn't a fan of them, you know.
Mhm.
And now I'm more a fan of them now than I ever was back then, you know. Just
Sure.
just because like it's nostalgic and all that, right? Their
Yeah.
songs, but I wasn't a fan back then, and I was young. I was probably, I mean, still like elementary school, whatever. So, and all my friends were fans of the Backstreet Boys, and I
Mhm.
remember specifically, like I was just like, I don't like him, and everybody was like mad at me somehow that I didn't like him. I was just, you know, that's just the way I feel. You know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fake liking them if I don't. I
Yeah.
like the Hansons better
Yeah.
than I did, and it's like, yeah, I get it, but like you can be very much like kind of like you can easily let people, you know, drag you into certain things because you
Mhm.
don't want to be left alone on your end, be liking different things than the
Right.
rest of the
Yeah.
group, if you will, right? So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You mentioning that. I think there's something for everyone out there,
Yeah. Well,
100%. You
and
know,
I've made not only more friends but closer friends, and more just I've made more and closer friends by expressing the specific things that I like. Meaning,
of course.
the weird that you share is so powerful to the weird if it matches somebody else's weird. And
Hmm.
it's so cool. Like, I mean, we've all been to like conventions and stuff. Um when you like bump into someone who is cosplaying a character, like a deep cut character from like a comic book that like not many people read, and you see that and you're like, holy shit, I love that comic. And they're like, no one else has gotten this costume. And you just bond over that shit. And I just want
Yeah.
like people need to know that. The more like specific honesty you can give to the world, the more people will latch onto that and just appreciate it, man. And just being a streamer for as many years as I have, I've recognized that time and time again that when I'm a huge like my tied for my favorite movie of all time is The Godfather 1, which is no surprise for a lot of people. But Transformers the movie 1986, the cartoon movie.
Hmm.
I've watched that thing like I could quote the whole thing and watch it like 30 times. And whenever I whip out a quote from that movie, there's at least one to two people like, "Is that Transformers, dude?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Fuck yeah, it was Transformers, dude." And they're like, "That's awesome." I'm like, I know, right? You know? And that thing,
Yeah.
it's that specific thing that you can share with other people. I just love that. And I want to spread the word.
Yeah, it's almost like a vicious circle in a way because like you don't feel comfortable speaking up or talking about the things that you like that are different than the rest of the people, I guess. But
Mhm.
then other people do the same. So like we all keep it to each other, and then when we open up about it, we're like, oh my god, like there's actually more connections or more there's more people than I thought actually liking the same stuff that I do
Yeah.
enjoy, and that connection for like absolutely. I think I'm very big on connections, and then uh, connecting with people and how we're all interconnected, if you
Yeah,
will,
dude.
on this planet and all that stuff, right? But that's part of it as well. Like what makes us who we are, and talking about it because deeply, whether you talk about it or not, it's part of who you are, right? And it's part of
Yeah.
someone else as well. So I always, well, not always, but I talk sometimes about my favorite movie of all time, which is Lost in Translation, which is not like a critically acclaimed movie by Sofia
Good
Coppola.
flick though, dude.
I mean, I love this movie. Like it transports me to Japan, and I just love. And I mean, I guarantee you, I meet someone that like has Lost in Translation as their favorite movie. We have something in common. We're gonna bond right off the bat. There's something that's gonna connect us, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is with anything, really. We're talking about movies and all that, but games is the same. And going to conventions and going to events and just being in this industry is just a tremendous opportunity to connect with people that we have something in common with. Because guess what? We do. We all
Yeah.
love gaming. That's a great start. And we can go
Totally.
deeper and talk about like which games we prefer and all that, and we can connect on the deeper level. That's just a tremendous opportunity I think
Yeah.
we have. So
I remember watching one of those moments that we've been describing. I don't remember. I think it might have been on like it was a year, many years ago, when Conan O'Brien was still doing late night. And I think he had Vin Diesel on, and I'm not sure if it was Conan or not, but he was on an interview show, and he brought up the fact that he plays Dungeons and Dragons proudly and has done for years, like decades or whatever.
yep.
And at that moment, I was like, I was gonna skip it. I was gonna skip the interview. I was like, oh, Vin Diesel, here's the Need for Speed Triple X guy. I don't care. And then he was like, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. Like, excuse me, what now? Muscly,
Yeah.
bald, manly, masculine Vin Diesel is on like a huge talk show saying he loves Dungeons and Dragons like this bearded nerd, that like honestly made me a fan of his for life, I
There you
love
go.
Vin
There
Diesel
you go.
now, he was like he didn't talk about it like it was a guilty thing. Like he didn't I don't even know if he used the word nerd when he
Mm-hmm.
talked about it. And that was a really big moment for me. Like he didn't talk about it like in the shadows, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go play D&D, because I've been playing D&D. Like I've been sneaking out of my dad's house. Like I live with my dad, and I lived in the basement. My room was in the basement. And I'd sneak out on Saturday nights, and I'd go play Dungeons and Dragons. I wasn't partying. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing drugs. I was out playing Dungeons and Dragons from midnight to like 6 a.m. I'd come home. Dawn was breaking. I'd sneak back in my bedroom window and go back to sleep. One day he caught me, and he goes, he caught me sneaking in. He actually was laying in my bed. I was sneaking in from a Dungeons and Dragons session, opening the window to the basement, sneaking in. My bedroom was dark. I got in. I reached across my bed because that's where my lamp was. Reached across my bed to get my lamp, and I hear this, "Hi, son." I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, scared the ever living shit out of me, and I had to sit there. And it's like, partying, drinking, doing drugs. Like, no, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, Dad. Don't lie to me. I'm like, I'm not lying. Like, let me smell your breath. Well, you don't smell like liquor. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you. You can talk to him if you want. I was playing D&D. My character Cethariel is a 6th level conjurer. We were going to the island of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, it's a great example that bringing Vin Diesel into the mix, because that's exactly it. You didn't have a connection with him, and then, and I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Now he opened up about his, I'll take your words, guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah.
And that created that you connected with him. and he connected with a lot of other people, I'm sure, again, from just this one single interview. So it just proves our point, um, and that we're not alone, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
now, yeah,
I don't know. I've kind of been swearing off and on. Is swearing okay on this
yeah, it's fine.
podcast? Okay. Uh, one of my favorite quotes to roll out when it comes to this kind of thing and sharing your weirdness. Dave Chappelle said, "Everybody fucks funny to somebody else." You know?
Yeah,
It's like,
no, that's a great way to, yeah.
oh, you like feet? That's weird, dude. I'm gonna be over here licking ears. You know?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
everybody is weird to somebody else. But you find that other foot guy, you're like, feet, right? Pow! You know, high five for feet.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it. I think
Yeah.
that's a great image. I think that represents how society works. It's like we all have our kinks and our preferences and our secret, little thing that we don't tell anyone, but ultimately we try to like all be on the same level about most things, not create too much uh, distortion or disruption into the mix, if you will. But when we do, we actually find that there's a lot of other people like us, and it's just again, I completely agree and appreciate you bringing that up because I think it's changing over time as well. Like if you look back in the 50s and the 60s and all that, uh,
Yeah, dude.
you really want it to be like square. I'll use the word square, really fit
Sure.
into the,
Yeah.
and I think
An L7.
Yeah.
A weenie
Yeah.
of a square.
Yeah, exactly. So now I want to know a bit more about like you and your audience, that relationship, because we're talking about like connection,
Sure.
but like what type of connection and relationship do you have with your audience?
We have it's a very fun kind of semi-dysfunctional family feeling. I grew up with a very funny father. Like my dad was a really funny guy. He was always the life of the party. Um, he was also like a very masculine dude. He was a man's man. Um, and he would how he showed love to his family, not only his kids but his brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff was like the art of shit talking, like the art of uh taking him down a peg, but with love, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what my dad taught me. That's kind of like, growing up, that's how I was taught to show love, is by, like say, come here, you douchebag, and then hug. It wasn't,
Yeah.
hey, I missed you, I love you. It was, fucking hair looks stupid. Come here. That's the way we do it, and that's the way my channel kind of runs. It's we throw around a lot of insults and barbs and jibes and all that kind of stuff, but I try to make it. I try to make sure everyone handles each other with kindness. Not lovey-dovey, but respect. There's a difference between calling someone an asshole and calling someone something hurtful.
Of course.
One can be construed as playful and fun and familiar, and that's how my channel kind of runs is, and also like, I feel like the dad and my moderators for my channel are like my kids, and they're the worst of them. Like take the people
We salute them.
Yeah, exactly. Take the people who shit on me the worst, but also the most clever, because we do praise originality and cleverness and coming up with stuff off your out of your own brain rather than using memes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I make them mods. Like I take those people and I make them mods. It's just kind of how it worked. And that shows other people in the channel when my mods with swords, like the green sword by their name, are, calling me names, making, old jokes, stupid jokes, fat jokes. Like that kind of stuff. My mods, my most trusted people are doing that. Other people go, okay, we can do that with each other and you know, still be friends. And that's how I wanted it. That's how I've tried to cultivate the channel. It can get out of hand sometimes, like when I'm actually asking for a little bit of help, whether I'm, you know, struggling in a game or I just need to know something, and I'll ask. I've dubbed them, by the way, Chad is the entire chat, because we all know a Chad, and you know who that. It's Chad, you know. So that's Chad. Chat has become Chad. But when I want help from Chad, they never give me a straight answer. So I like that's sometimes I kick myself. I'm like, fuck, I taught you to do this. Like, okay, what was how do I get around this thing? I want to get up there. And they're like, have you tried sticking your finger in your ass? I'm like, God, I did this. I did this to myself, man. I did it to myself. Back. Yeah. But I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Because I don't think being an asshole and being kind are mutually exclusive things in a human being. They don't have to be.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think from what I know of you, like, and your community is, you're very close to them too. You open up about a lot of things with them. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. No, like I've been very candid about about all of like the things that maybe I'm not too proud of, or the things that I'm struggling with. I've been very open. I've just recently, like in the past month and a half, have started going to therapy for anger issues, and I've been open about like my drug use, my alcohol consumption. You know, and the thing is, like, not only does it give them, like, us a closer connection, but in the discussions that are had when regarding like maybe some harder issues to discuss, they find other people in chat that, like, you know, whether they become friends or they have avenues to help each other. It's amazing. Like, I know people that have met in my channel that are now, you know, living together, and they like moved across the country to live together, and, you know, that kind of shit. So, like, I love that. That's why I'm not. I'm just a brain full of quotes from 80s and 90s and stuff, and Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate. Guilt is like a bag of fucking bricks. Just gotta set it down. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't think that's exactly how he says it, but that's how I feel like that. Like guilt, shame, that kind of thing. We've all been through like tough times. We've all had embarrassing moments and stuff, but shared pain is decreased and shared joys is increased. And I try to live by that.
Yeah, it's also something that it's changing in the in society, like people opening up about needing help, needing mental health help, seeking therapy, doing therapy, having depression, being depressed, consumption. It's and that's a great thing, and I think that it goes back in circles about like our previous point as well. Something that people used to keep a lot more inside to themselves, probably lie to themselves as well about it, saying like, I don't need help. You know, other people need help. Like they're the problem, not me. You know,
right?
But as soon as you open up, like you again, and you opening up to your community, it opens a door to other people being open about it and engage in conversation. I'm guessing you have a Discord with these guys there as well, and you can continue the conversation after you're done streaming, right? So that's tremendous. What got you to seek help, if you will?
For this particular for therapy, the most recent one was a game we were talking about, Turbo Golf Racing. It wasn't the game itself. it was the fact that I got so angry playing this game that I could not calm myself down. And the feeling of being out of control of your emotions is a powerful one. It's like if you've ever sobbed uncontrollably, like you couldn't stop crying, or you couldn't stop being angry until you hit something. That was me. Like I went outside, I was so angry, like I punched our wooden planter, and skinned my knuckles, broke the wood, whatever. But I couldn't. I felt like I was out of control, and that was something that I think, as a 42-year-old man should have, is control of his own emotions. So I said, and this isn't the first time it's happened. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens enough, where it was time. I said, yeah, I don't have the tools I need in here to deal with that yet. And that's what I'm hoping. And what therapy has done is, that's what, when you call an expert, you can visualize a house. You can picture it in your head. You can picture building it and stuff, but you can't build it because you don't have the knowledge of how to build it. You hire a carpenter. And that's the thing. Like, why don't you just stop being mad? Like, that's easy to say, but I need the tools. And that's what hopefully the therapist has been teaching me, is these are tools you can use to control your emotions. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, because I think humans are full of emotions. That's all. If we're one thing, we're emotions. We're emotional, entities. It's okay to feel emotions, but to let emotions get the better of you and control you, that's where, yeah, I think, sometimes is where we need the most help. And I raise my hat to you, man, for acknowledging that you needed someone to help you get where you want to go, where you want to get, and that's and more and more people are doing it, but still not enough people are doing it, I think. So really, I raise my hat to you, man. It's tremendous for you to just take that step forward and be humble, be like, hey, you know what? I also can get help. I did the same. I've been going to therapy on and off for several years, and mental health is not so different than physical health. It's,
I agree.
There shouldn't be. It should be seen as oh my God, you're going to therapy. What is wrong with you? How some
Right.
Right? It's there's nothing wrong. I mean, I just want to get better. That's all.
Yeah. I've always pictured it as going to the gym, but for my brain.
That's a great
way to put it, if you go to the gym, you want to keep your body healthy, right? That's why you go to the gym. I want to keep my brain healthy. I want to understand how it works, and I want to know how I can be better me, and get control of the things I want to have control of, or a better control, I guess. I don't want to change who I am, but I just want to be a better version of me. And that's why you go to the gym, and that's why I go to therapy.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Do you also read books to help with certain? No?
I know I've never been a big reader. I like books. Books without pictures. I could never do it. I always lose track. I'm pretty seriously ADD, and I always I'll read a thing. I gotta read that thing again. I'll read it 5 times, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Books with pictures though move along quickly enough that panel by panel by panel, I can comics basically. I can keep up with the story, and it keeps me interested in stuff because it comes in little bites. It wasn't a favorite book, but a book that I picked up and I was like, oh, I can read this. Was the Da Vinci Code, because the chapters were so tiny, and I actually read through it. I was like, and it was kind of eye opening for me. Oh, do I need things in smaller chunks? And it also translated into more why like social media and stuff, I realized like I would get more engagements on things when I put everything in small, like readable chunks rather than one paragraph of text. It was like one line, couple sentences, separated by a space and stuff. People would, comprehend it. I would comprehend it better. But see, here's my ADD going off on a tangent about reading and stuff. But I read all the time, like every day, because of chat. Because 8 hours a day, I'm reading chat, and that is also bite-sized segments.
Absolutely. I think like reading for me, I've never been a big reader in my life as a whole. I'm 37, right? And for the majority of my life, I haven't been a big reader. That being said, certain books, I think Ready Player One was one, Forrest Gump, when I was younger, I read that. A few books I read, like just read them super fast. But personal development books, have been really helpful for me because they allow me to read small chunks of it. I don't need to read the full thing. Stop and just think about it, and have that information in my mind. Sometimes, it doesn't necessarily resonate with me. So, but when it does, I keep it in me. I keep thinking about it. I process the information, if you will, and I keep on continuing to read the book at my own pace, if you will. Some books I've read really fast. Some books I've read at a slower pace. But just reading for me has been helpful as well, on top of therapy. And that's just not just for mental health, but also for talk about like just being more organized or building better habits, or even for business, business books, if you will, right? So, but I totally get that. It's not an easy, or I also think I'm ADD, but it's makes it harder for real to read and to keep track of books, for sure.
Yeah. I've never looked into it, but I'm betting there's probably some self-help comic books out there that like for people like me who would need like, an image to go along with the words, and put it in like a panel section so I can take it chunk by chunk rather than just having black words on a white page.
Absolutely. And there's also, I'm sure, content creators that can help with that as well. If someone prefers the video format, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, talking about format, I'm trying to segue into a segment here.
Do it.
We have this segment called "Explain This Tweet." Okay.
Oh, okay.
And there's two, I think, that our producers put there. Yep, we got two tweets.
Okay.
And we'd love for you to talk more about them.
You bet.
So I'm going to get closer to my screen here.
I'm wondering how old these are, dude.
They're not that old, actually.
Oh, okay.
You know what? They're actually recent. We're in August now, August 1st, at the time of recording this. They're from last month, actually.
Oh, okay, no problem.
So first one is from July 7th.
Okay.
Announcement from yesterday. This month I'm raising money for St. Bardrick's Foundation. It's a child cancer charity that takes your donations. If I raise 10K, I'm shaving my hair and beard. Donate. So I want to know what the response was from the community and how that went.
It went spectacularly. It went better than I expected, but it always does. Like when it's a charity thing, it always goes better than I expected. Because you go out. I set out with a $10,000 goal, and by the end of it, we actually ended up raising $30,200. By the end of July. Yeah, we had our last push yesterday, actually, because 31st. It was last day of July. But what was the original question? I want to make sure I get that answer.
Well, here's a new question. Why still the beard then?
Oh, because I'm going to do it live on stream.
Okay.
There was
when
a couple
is that?
of
We want to be there. What
Yeah,
is that?
I will let you know. There's a
Okay.
couple of donation. There was a couple of donation incentives. $10,000, I would shave my hair and beard. $15,000, uh, I take the beard, the shaven off beard, and I get to glue it on my mod's face. Mr. Scott Evans is my right hand mod. He was also the person who brought this charity up to me. He's like, you should do this, and I was like, okay. So he's gonna come over. Uh, that's why I haven't announced yet, because he's got kids and a wife and stuff, so he's got to coordinate his schedule.
Yeah.
You know, dropping him off at like karate and whatever the kids do these days. So I've got to work kind of around his schedule. Um, but yeah, he's gonna come over. He's gonna shave my head, shave my beard. I'm gonna take my beard and glue it on his face. That's for 15. For 20,000, someday in the future, we're going to do uh, a reprisal of a hot sauce stream we did a while ago. Like, we did a charity hot sauce stream. We're gonna do another one. It's gonna be AMA, Ask Me Anything, hot ones sort of kind of style. And we're going to get the hottest hot sauces, including including Da Bomb. We're gonna get that one. We already have it actually. And that was for 20,000. And the rest was just like, just butter, just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to hit 20, let alone 30. So it was very nice that we did that. But yeah, the hair and beard are going as soon as we can coordinate together. Hopefully this week, if he can get it done. And it might be Saturday.
Oh, so the episode's not going out until at least next week. So it's potentially at the time of launching this episode, it may have already happened.
The day, Saturday the 6th is the potential date that we're looking at right now, August 6th.
All right. So what we'll do?
You might have already been on my VODs and YouTube.
Exactly. Well, what we'll do is that let us know when it happens, and we'll share it across social media to let people know when to watch you shave your hair and beard and stick it to one of your mods. I mean, we're going to be there for sure, guaranteed.
You bet,
man. We got another tweet here from actually the day after, July 8th. Sometimes I feel like a sad old man desperately clinging to youth. I'm not. I wake up every day happier than I thought possible and walk with people who enjoy my company. And old shit, I'm going to keep doing this until I can't pick up a goddamn controller anymore. Thanks, Kevin. So, can you tell us and walk us through the days when you're feeling down? Because you're open to your community and all, but we all wake up once in a while and don't feel too well. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah. It's a weird question to ask me because, like, I have a dream job. Like, I play video games and I get to entertain people, like, for a living. Like, that's my job, and it's great, and I'm grateful and every day for that. But it doesn't, like, your brain doesn't care sometimes how great your life is.
Yep.
Like, we all know the stories of, like, celebrities who seem to have had it all, and they end up, committing suicide, or it comes out later that they had those kind of thoughts and they like pulled through it or whatever. And it's because your brain doesn't care who you are, how much money you make, or how happy you think you are. Sometimes it attacks you. But also, I'm getting older, and that's kind of hard to deal with sometimes, especially when some games require, those fast reaction twitch muscles to, like, beat certain parts of it. And I find myself wondering, like, if I was 10 years younger, could I have beat this? Like, or could I have beat it faster, or that kind of thing. I might be smarter and wiser now, but I'm definitely not getting any quicker or more deft with my fingers or that kind of thing. So that was definitely part of that tweet. was me like it came like at a time I was kind of feeling my age a little bit. And then Kevin Smith, that was the person I was quote tweeting. Kevin Smith was answering someone who said uh, it was him and Jason Mewes, who are they're Jay and Silent Bob together, right? And someone said how sad it is. Like, oh, look at these sad old men. Like, oh my God, just call it a day. Stop making these stupid movies. It's getting pathetic or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin like clapped back at him and said, like, dude, I get to wake up and make movies with my best friends. That's the happiest thing ever. I don't know how you could even think that's sad. And that's how I felt. Like, you know what? My life's pretty goddamn great. And I felt like I needed to get that out and share. Like, I like, big on sharing, share that part of me. Like, yeah, I feel old, but I don't care, man. I'll put a fucking controller on the front of my walker. And I'll get it. I'll keep gaming as long as I can, man.
Yeah.
And like I found encouragement from Kevin Smith, and maybe my thing might pay it forward and encourage somebody else.
I mean, it is something that I think a lot, if not everyone, goes through as well. At some point in their lives. Now we're talking about gaming, and I certainly feel the same way as you. A lot of the times, I still see myself as like a 15, 16-year-old, like Counter-Strike, like semi-pro.
Yeah.
And now you watch me play FPS, and I'm like, dude, I'm nowhere near whatever I was back then, but 20 years has passed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
20 years. It's like over 20 years. And you're right. You get wiser, you get smarter, more mature, a lot of very positive things, but you get slower.
Yeah.
It's a nature of things, it's the balance of life. It's the balance of being a human being. You can't be all. If you gain something, you almost have to lose something in return,
Right.
but to deal with that doesn't make it like easy to deal with. So I think that is something that, well, it speaks to me, but I know it speaks to a lot of people out there as well.
I hope so, man.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
I hope any sort of struggle that I'm having, as long as I'm honest about it, I will continue to share it, because I have been inspired before, and I can only hope that I can be inspirational to someone who watches me or follows me.
Absolutely. Now, we have audience questions. We have two of them.
Okay.
First one is, hey Zeke, you're really apt at using your platform to share life lessons and learnings with your fans. Some of the things you've said about mental health have truly helped me. There you go. And I'm sure they've resonated with a lot of your audience. When did you realize it? When did you realize it was okay to talk about these things? And when did you realize the impact/value you could bring with your platforms?
When did I realize that it was that I could talk about it, or that I wanted to talk about it? I've always kind of been a loudmouth and kind of an egotist in that way, that I think that I am entertaining or cool enough that people should watch me. I don't know if that's nature or nurture, but I've always felt like I'm pretty good in front of people, and I usually won't disappoint you. So when I got my first encouragement, I guess, from someone on Twitter or in an email, sent me a message saying, yo, I know exactly like what you went through, man. Like, I'm going through it myself. I don't remember what it was or whatever, but when I got that first encouragement, like, someone identified with something I said, and it helped them, or it opened up a dialogue, opened up options for them. From then on, I was like, consequences and haters be damned. Like I'm gonna tell you my struggles because I'm a human being and my struggles are going to be uh, different than a lot of you, but every so often they're going to be the same as one of you. And if something I say can help you better your life, I'm all for it, man. I don't care. You can hate on me all you want. Like I got a lot of hate. Well, not a lot of hate. I got a modicum of hate for talking about getting a vasectomy. Like, and I think that dudes should do it, man. I think that if you don't want to have kids, you should have a vasectomy because it's awesome. It is so great. It's made my life so much better. But I got a lot of people like, oh, maybe just don't cut your balls and be more responsible.
Cut your balls, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I got a modicum of hate for it, and I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
If it helps, it helps. If it helps, it's worth it.
But again, it's gonna resonate with some people, and that's the thing with like speaking up, right? Or being opinionated. Having an
Mm-hmm.
opinion, you're gonna get love and hate back. It cannot just be love. It cannot. I mean, hopefully, it's not just hate either.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be able to deal with it, which is maybe why some people decide not to speak up as well. It's because that comes with it.
Yeah.
As soon as you talk about, you're opinionated, you talk about vasectomy, like people, especially now, it's like the whole like doesn't it's not abortion, of course, but it's still in that vicinity, I guess, in a way, in
Yeah.
a
Oh
way,
yeah.
right? So I think that it's people have very strong opinions about those things, and like it's gonna create you're gonna just engage in a conversation, and people are going to be opinionated as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get hate, you're going to get love, you're going to get support and all that, but it comes in one big bag. It's not just one or the other, right? So
Yep.
you have to be able to deal with it, which is not necessarily something that is easy to do, but when you can deal with that, that's great, because then it just allows you to open up and be frank. And as you said, from knowing what you do online and also just talking with you today, is
Mm-hmm.
you are an opinionated person, and I think that's I appreciate the fact that you speak up about things that you believe in and you that are close to you, right?
Yep. And I have a thick skin, and a lot of people don't.
Mm.
A lot of people, and that's okay. They don't have to have a thick skin, but I do. So since I do, I can take a joke. I can roll with the punches. You can't hurt my feelings, unless like the only way you can hurt my feelings is if I already love you. Some
Mm.
rando on the internet is not gonna fucking hurt my feelings. So my thick
Right.
skin, I will take it out and be the vanguard. If I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I'll be the fucking punching bag so you don't have to if that's needed, you know. Also, just gotta let you know, like I've got therapy in 20 minutes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is, can we do a really fast rapid fire segment? 15
Sure,
questions is going to be like a minute,
sure.
and then that's going to be it. Actually,
Cool.
yeah. Let me get these questions. There we go. All right, you ready? Just
All right.
15 questions, two options, really rapid fire.
I'm ready.
Just don't think, just answer.
You got it.
All right, let's go. Ice creams. Uh, Wait, sorry. Okay, ice creams. Only ever eat the cone or only ever eat the cream?
Cone. Always eat the cone.
Headphones or earbuds?
Headphones.
East Coast or West Coast?
Midwest.
Earthquakes or tsunamis?
Earthquakes.
Get a paper cut every time you turn a page or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Oh, paper cut. I love to eat, and I don't read.
Find find El Dorado or find Atlantis?
Atlantis.
Sweaters or hoodies?
Hoodies.
Would you rather find a rat in your kitchen or a roach in your bed?
Roach in my bed.
No sugar for the rest of your life or no salt for the rest of your life?
No salt. Jesus.
Balance, right? Can't just get both. Pecan pie or apple pie?
Pecan.
Eat a bar of soap or drink a glass of vinegar?
Glass of vinegar.
Netflix or Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime. Thank you, Daddy Bezos.
Would you rather always have a full phone battery or full gas tank?
Full phone battery.
Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Tank.
Tank who?
You're welcome.
There you go.
Thank you, Zeke, for doing this this podcast episode with me, with us, opening up, talking about the person behind your channel and the different your podcast. Right? It's a real pleasure to get to know you a bit more.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Fun interview.
Now I'm going to tell how people can find you online, because they absolutely should be following you, giving you a follow there on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ezekiel_III for Ezekiel III. That's EZEKIEL _III.
If you want to find my Twitch channel, even easier, Zeke3.tv.
Zeke3.tv. There we go. On Twitter, Ezekiel_III, and on YouTube, it's Ezekiel _III as well. Thanks again, Zeke. Thanks for everyone for listening to this episode. Let us know who you want next for the next guest on Streamforge Radio. You'll be back next Tuesday with another interview. Don't forget to share and like and give us any positive feedback. It's always appreciated. Thank you so much again for listening. Thanks, Zeke. See you next time.
Thank you.